Hi, in the last session, we talked about the VHDL process block and we also understood the concept of registered process block and combinational process block. And now we know that the statements written inside the VHDL process blocks to execute sequentially. Now, in this session, we are talking about one of the widely used feature in the VHDL designs, which are need to be used inside the process block. And this is if-else statement. So let's start. Like other programming languages, in VHDL, the if statement is also used for conditional branching within the process block. It allows you to execute different blocks of codes based on the certain conditions. So here is the general syntax of an if statement. So this is a little different from the software programming languages. So please remember this. Okay, so the syntax is if condition 1, then now you can write the statements here when the condition 1 is being true. Else if condition 2, then now in this section, write the statements when condition 2 being true. Else, now write the statements if none of the above conditions are true. And if semicolon. So this is very clear with the structure here that the condition 1 has the highest priority. If this condition 1 is true, then the statement group 1 will execute and after that you will exit from this if else condition. Means now it will not check for the condition 2 and condition 3 and so on. And hence the statement group 2 and the statement group 3 will not execute in this situation. Now condition 2 having the second priority means this will only get checked when condition 1 did not meet, right? And if this condition 2 is true, then the statement group 2 will execute and the compiler will take the exit from this if condition. Same with the statement group 3. When the condition 1 and condition 2 are not true, then this set of statement will execute. Now there are some important keynotes about the VHDL if-else statement, and these are: first, if-else statement must be written inside the VHDL process block. They cannot be written outside the process block in VHDL. This is because if-else statement required sequential executions to perform any task. Second, each and every if statement in VHDL must be ANDed with the AND if statement. So you can see AND if semicolon in the last. Third, you can write multiple elseif condition with one single if statement. But remember the priority because the top condition is having the highest priority and the last condition is having the lowest priority. Fourth, notice the spelling of elseif. It is ELSIF, not ELSEIF. Fifth, you can write as many statements as you want in the statement groups. But remember that all the statements here will execute sequentially. Sixth, the condition output are Boolean. Hence, your condition either can be true or it can be false. You can also allow to combine multiple conditions with the logical operations as well. Note that in this example, the syntax has three statement groups, but they all are the part of one single if-else statement. Now in this slide, we also have three statement groups, but this is little different because here we have two if-else statements, and these two if-else statements are completely separate. Means here compiler is not having any priority with the conditions. They are separate and hence they both will execute all the time. Means condition 1 will check and also condition 2 will be checked, and based on the conditions statement groups will be executed. Means if condition 1 is true, then the statement group 1 will execute and the compiler will exit the first if else statement. But now there is a second if else statement. Means now compiler will also check this condition 2, and if this is true, then the statement group 3 will also execute. If condition 1 is false but condition 2 is true, then the statement group 2 and the statement group 3 will execute here. Now if condition 1 is false and condition 2 is also false, then only statement group 2 will execute, because in the second if else statement there is no else statement. Means there would be no changes in the signals with this if else statement. Note that you can write multiple if else statements inside one single process block, and you are also allowed to write multiple if else statements in the separate process blocks. But there are some limitations and there are some good practices which need to be followed. when you are working on more than one process block and if-else statements. First, let's have a quick recall. If-else statement must be written inside the VHDL process block. They cannot be written straight inside the VHDL architecture body. Remember the best practices of sensitivity list when you are writing combinational or registered process blocks. Sensitivity list plays an important role here. If you are not using it correctly, your results either in the simulation or in the hardware may not function like what you are expecting from it. You can write as many statements as you need inside single conditional group. When using the if-else statement, the first condition will have the highest priority to check. If this is true, then the no other conditions will be checked for that if-else statement. Similarly, the last condition will have the lowest priority. You are also allowed to use nested if-else statements in VHDL. Elsif in VHDL is written as elsif. It is not elseif. So make a note of it because it is like a very common mistake in starting. Every if statement need to be ended with the end if statement. You cannot use the assignment on the same signal from the two different process blocks. Does not matter they are written inside the if else condition or outside the if else condition because they may execute concurrently at the same timestamp and can create the conflict in the output. You are allowed to use multiple if else statements inside one single process block. All the if else statements inside the process block will execute sequentially. Means if you retain two if else statements, then both the statements will execute, but they will execute in sequence, one after one. Well, this is very basic of if else statement. Hence, we are not going deep at this moment. Although there are some more good practices which need to be followed to write a good VHDL design, like what are latches and how they are created in the hardware from the improper if else statements in the VHDL codes, and how to write a VHDL code to avoid such latches in your hardware designs, etc. But we will be covering them little later when we will become more familiar with the if-else statement and VHDL general features and functions. In the next session, we will be talking about VHDL components, and we will also talk about how to instantiate components in the VHDL structural designs. So stay tuned for the updates. If you did not subscribe till now, then please do subscribe to learn and grow community for the regular updates. If this video is informative, then please like this video, comment on video, and don't forget to share. Thank you for watching.